You hear people talk about the speed of sound, but what about the sound of speed? What does fast sound like? To answer that, let's turn to Softube's FET Compressor. Our guitar sound is pretty good, but I'd like to get a little more saturation that the FET Compressor is known for and get our dynamics under control so it could sit better in the mix. Let's adjust our input and output and then click through our ratios to find the best ratio. 8:1 sounds good. So now let's speed up our attack. And let's add a little bit of low cut. Now let's listen to the difference as we bypass and re-engage the plugin. For our bass sound, I'd like to take advantage of the distortion characteristics, but I'm going to start by dropping our ratio and seeing what our input and output could do before bringing in any compression. Let's bring our ratio up. That keeps it a little more under control. Let's grab those transients and add a slower release. Now the bass is sitting better in our mix and has a nice fatter sound. Now this tune comes from a jazz session, but this is more of a fusion song, so our drum overheads are actually capturing more of a jazz sound, and I'd like to drive them a little harder. We're going to start by bringing our ratio all the way up to all buttons in. This is going to give us a certain type of distortion. Listen to what happens if we keep a nice fast attack, a really slow release, so that we're always in compression, and then we'll set our input and output. Now at this point we have a little too much low end, so I'm going to cut that out using the low cut. And let's add some of that dry signal back in with the parallel inject. Listen to the difference in the drum overheads with the FET Compressor bypassed and then with it engaged. Our snare is a smaller piccolo snare, and I'd like to make it sound bigger. We're going to start by using our look ahead and bring the look ahead all the way up. This is going to give us an even faster speed to grabbing some of our transients. Let's bring our ratio up to 20:1 and make some adjustments to see if we can make the snare sound a little bit bigger. Let's let some of those transients through with the attack. Now let's listen to our kick. For our kick, we're going to use a 4:1 ratio, and we're going to keep a slower attack time to allow the beater to come through, but a really snappy and fast release time. Listen before and after on the kick. Now there's nothing stopping you from putting the FET Compressor on your master bus, and for this, I would start with a nice low ratio of maybe about 2:1. Let's keep our attack time a little bit slower and keep our release time a little faster. Let's make sure to use a nice low cut so that we don't have too much of the low end triggering the compressor. Let's even take our look ahead and bring that up for some really nice fast compression. Then we'll use our input and output to set some levels and parallel inject some of that dry signal back in. The Softube FET Compressor gives you ultra-fast compression for taming your transients while bringing in a distortion characteristic that's unique to this style of compression. Grab your snare with a snappy attack and release, add some additional harmonics to dull sounds, or crush your room mics to make the average drum room sound even bigger than ever. That's the sound of speed.